You've delivered a presentation. It's gone really well, but now you're at the final stages and you're wondering, how do I wrap it up? How do I conclude this speech? In this video, I am going to give you my number one tip for the best way you can end any speech. Before I get into the best way to end your speech, I want to start with 3 things you should avoid doing to ending your speech. And the first is this. All right. Well, that's about my time. That's all I got. Thank you everyone for coming out. I really appreciate it. And yeah, thanks a lot, everyone. I have seen many speakers end this way, and it's really unfortunate because it brings your speech to a screeching halt and it falls flat. People are going to remember the bookends of your presentation, meaning the way you introduce your presentation, your opening, and they will remember your conclusion. And even if you have great information that's in the middle of your speech, if you have a flat ending, people aren't going to walk away with as much value as they should. The second thing I want you to avoid doing when wrapping up your speech is apologizing. Hey everyone, I'm so sorry. It looks like my time's up. I must have gone over time. Sorry about that. Sorry, I know we started a little bit late as well. Thank you for coming out. Appreciate it. Like the previous example, an ending such as this, where you're apologizing, it's going to fall flat. It's going to feel abrupt. And the issue is you shouldn't be apologizing, because if the timing was an issue, that's on you to ensure that your speech is practiced enough, that you've gone through the preparation to ensure that you're going to be on time. By apologizing, it takes away from your presentation. The third and probably most common thing I've seen that I want you to avoid when giving a presentation is ending on questions. That might seem like a bad idea, especially because Q&A is one of the most valuable parts of any presentation. And I don't think you should avoid Q&A necessarily. It can be a great part of your presentation, but what I'm asking is to not end on Q&A, because what you're doing when you complete your speech and then you open it for questions is that you're allowing the conclusion of your speech to be outside of your control. And I can't tell you how many times I've given a great speech and then I've opened it up for Q&A, and the final question maybe something random about how the technology isn't working properly for them and if I can help them with that after the speech. And then if that is the situation, once again, it's not going to end on a high note. It's kind of that lull. Instead, what I think you should do if you're going to incorporate Q&A is build that in perhaps 5-10 minutes before your conclusion, allow time for questions, and then have one final thought, one final way that you control it. You control the end of your speech. You end on a final note. That way you can ensure that both your introduction and your conclusion are as strong as possible. So I've told you what not to do when it comes to ending your speech. So the question remains, well, how do I conclude my speech or presentation? And the answer is by making it come full circle. What this means is that your ending of your speech is going to have a lot to do with how you introduce your speech. And there's an opportunity, no matter how you introduce your speech, if you're doing one of the tactical ways to hook the audience, which includes a powerful statement, a question, jumping right into a story, basically anything outside of, "Hi everyone, for those who don't know me, my name is Wade and I'm here today to talk to you about." Many speeches begin that way and it's a missed opportunity. I have another video that talks about how to hook your audience, so go check out that video, which is going to teach you about great introductions. But once you have that great introduction, then you continue through the structure or the body of your speech. And what your conclusion should do is it should reference that intro, how you began your speech. What this is going to do is it's going to be incredibly powerful to the audience. They are going to feel as though you've taken them on this journey that has been well crafted, and that you knew the whole time that while you took them through various ideas and concepts and stories, that it all was going to be tied back together, that you were going to wrap a bow on this presentation and end with a powerful statement. And this is one of the most satisfying ways to build a speech. It's going to leave a lasting impact on your audience, and it's going to feel really great from you, the speaker's point of view. I'll give you 2 examples of how you can do this. The first is for a wedding speech. And again, many people stand up and they introduce themselves as, "Hi everyone, my name's Wade. I'm the best man at today's wedding." That is unnecessary. You don't need to do that. There's probably programs on the table that have your name in that role, or maybe there's an MC who has already introduced you. Regardless, you don't need to waste the first few valuable seconds of a speech introducing yourself. Instead, you can say something more powerful that's going to hook the audience's attention. For example, "Today, I am Billy's best man, but in 5th grade, we were arch enemies." All right, now we've got a story. There is something powerful there that is going to grab the audience's attention. So how do you conclude a speech like that? Well, I'm sure the body or the structure of the speech would have probably told that story about 5th grade. It would have mentioned some nice things about Billy and the person Billy is marrying. So then the conclusion could be something like this: "Even though my 5th grade self would disagree, I wish Billy and Sarah all the happiness in the future." This is an example of a full circle conclusion. I had the introduction, which took the audience's attention. I would have my speech structure, and then the conclusion, it references the beginning. It references that 5th grade moment. It comes full circle, and it ties a bow on it. Or maybe you're leading an office meeting and you're thinking, "Well, Wade, what's an example that would have to do with business?" Well, many office meetings start the exact same way. They're fairly informal. They say, "Hey everyone, welcome this week. Here's what we're going to talk about." Why not use that same speech presentation structure to hook the audience? Even though it's a meeting, you can still grasp the audience's attention with a powerful question. For example, are we the disruptors, or are we about to be disrupted? Okay, now you've got the attention of your employees. That is a powerful statement of what repercussions perhaps lie ahead, how this is very serious, how you need to be focused on this. So that will grab the audience's attention. Then, of course, the presentation or the meeting would probably run through some numbers that will show you how your company is doing, maybe projected forecasts for the future. You will have all of that data and information. So how do you conclude a meeting or a presentation or a business speech such as that? Based on the full circle concept, you could wrap this speech up by saying, based on Q1 data and consumer sentiment, it's true, we continue to be the industry disruptors. Your employees or your audience of a business presentation like that will be incredibly impressed. First off, just like the wedding speech, you've taken them on a journey, and this has been really well put together. But also, this is such a unique and rare thing to see at an office meeting or a business presentation. We often think of these presentations as being a bit dull, but instead, you've structured it really well. And by doing that, the benefit to you is that the audience is more likely to retain the information. I hope this video and these examples on how to end your presentation have been beneficial. Do you have questions for me? Let me know in the comments. Let me know what's worked well for you in terms of concluding your speeches. And if you have not yet done so, please subscribe to my channel, because it is my goal, whether you're in the Toastmasters program or you are simply focused on being a better speaker, a more impactful communicator, I want to help you along that journey. And by subscribing to my channel, you're going to have continuous access to a lot of great free video content. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video, and I'll catch you on the next one.